Thank you very much. First of all, thank you to EURACTIV and to Future Media Lab for inviting me. It's quite difficult to talk after Vice President Timmermans, and it happened to me already 3 or 4 times at a different event that I have to talk about the issues that many of us present here are passionate about, and that's press freedom, and that's why we are here at the eve of World Press Freedom Day, sending a message from Brussels, trying to tackle the issues that are so dear to us, important to us, and also trying to be very realistic in which kind of world we live at the moment when it comes to press freedom, media freedom, safety of journalists, and all these issues that are intertwined and interconnected for all of us that believe in open society, in democracy, in values within the EU, but also beyond. Tomorrow we pay tribute to journalists worldwide. We pay tribute for all that are also not anymore with us because they were killed because of the work they were doing in many of the states in Europe and beyond. The main issue is that most of those murders are still not investigated, and I can mention few like Anna Politkovskaya, like Georgi Gongadze, Emin Husseinov, and many others that worked hard in order to reveal truth about the criminal and corruption in their society. And for that they lost their life, and we should never forget about this. We can talk about technology, we can talk about innovations, we can talk about future journalism, but as long as we live in the world where journalism is a profession, which is sometimes called by me and several other press freedom advocates as a witch hunt, we cannot talk about moving forward in the right direction. The World Press Freedom map is getting darker. The global indicator calculated by Reporters Sans Frontières for this year has never been so high, which means that media freedom is under threat now more than ever. All too many leaders see journalism as the enemy, reporters as rogue actors, users of Twitter as potential terrorists, and bloggers as blasphemers. And this is the reality. This is what I faced as the OSCE Representative on Freedom of the Media for almost 7 years, traveling to the faraway countries, meeting with people in their houses, also hiding, but also in prisons. Hearing the stories, what does it mean to be a journalist in a society that is strictly controlled? And because of those people that are so courageous, we need to move forward. We need to find a way to protect journalism, to protect journalists, to protect media freedom as such. How to do this in the world where we talk suddenly about alternative facts, so-called fake news, misinformation, and propaganda like it never existed before. But we all know too well that it existed before. So why suddenly now we are so obsessed with it? Why suddenly now there are governments saying, even within the EU, we are going to fix the fake news? I know Franz Timmermans would not agree with this, that the governments would do it, but there are many other politicians that use possibility to talk publicly and say, yes, we are going to fix the fake news. And this is wrong. This needs to change. And the World Press Freedom Day is also a moment where we need to mention how it is important to protect independent professional journalism. Working out who to trust and who not to believe has been a facet of human life since our ancestors began living in complex societies. Some warn that fake news threatens the democratic process itself. On page 1 of any political science textbook It will say that democracies rely on people being informed about the issues so they can have a debate and make a decision. But the difference today is how we get our information. The internet has made it possible for many voices to be heard that could not make it through the bottleneck that controlled what would be distributed before. Initially, when they saw the prospect of this, many people were excited about this opening up, but many were not pleased because information was so suddenly exposed and the information traveled so quickly to different parts of the world. We need a new way to decide what is trustworthy. I think it is going to be not figuring out what to believe, but who to believe. It is going to come down to the reputations of the sources of the information. So nothing new, but still extremely important. And those sources of information do not have to be the ones we had in the past. It can change, and we have to embrace the change, like we are embracing the technology. And that's why I think media innovation and everything that these organizations in Brussels are doing in order to support newcomers, I think it's worth praising and welcoming. And they need help. They need help from policymakers. They need help from all of us working in international organizations. And they need help from journalists and media houses in order to make sure that we have plurality of voices. Only this can save journalism as we know it, trustworthy, hardcore, investigative, courageous journalism. That is actually the price we pay for living in democracy. Thank you very much.